I am a publisher, writer, editor, daughter, sister, auntie, dog mom, and many other things, including currently a cancer patient. But I am not a doctor or medical professional of any sort. What you are about to watch is an episode of my journey through cancer. I'm sharing my adventure with you in hopes that you'll find something here that's comforting and maybe even inspiring. This video is not intended to provide any sort of diagnosis or treatment plan. Please go talk with your doctor for professional medical advice. It is the darndest thing. Everyday life keeps happening, even when you have cancer and your own personal world just squeals to a halt. All the normal things that inconvenience us in everyday life just keep on happening. For me, one of the things that isn't happening is, you'll notice probably, hair. My hairdresser and I decided that if it was going to fall out anyway, there was no reason to keep coloring it and cutting it. But I have an appointment this coming week to have my wigs cut there. They've arrived, and I'm going to have them cut and shaped so that they work for me. And I may ask her just to trim this up a little bit. But the bigger thing that I wanted to talk to you about today is that a few weeks before vacation, my phone decided that it was done. So, new phone. And then while I was on vacation, my laptop threw in the towel. So, new laptop. So, two things. I'm home. I'm going to be doing the narration about the things that happened on vacation and that were affected by the tech meltdown from home, because it took days and days and days to hook everything back up and get all the data transferred. And even then, I had to wait for a young person to come to help me create all the to hook everything back up the way it used to be. So my monitor worked, and my iPad worked, and my iPhone worked, and my Mac worked. And I have a question for Apple. Apple, why is it necessary to change the plugs and adapters on the phones every time you come out with a new version? Why was it necessary to go from this to this on the new phone? My Beats don't work anymore. So, did you make the change because this helps the technology work better? Or do you have an ulterior motive? The second thing is that I suck at remembering to take my camera out and take footage when I'm out and about. I have a favorite YouTuber, Stephanie Jarvis of the Chateau Diaries, and I'll link the channel down below. And I am just in awe of the interesting footage that she presents, and her commitment to taking out her camera and recording while she's out and about, and her ability to remember to take out her camera and record. So I will take inspiration from Miss Jarvis and continue to try to improve about this. For now, once again, it's mostly just me. Lucky you. Okay. So, getting my hands on a new laptop while on vacation, in what I have in the past referred to uncharitably as West Bumfuck, Maryland, that was a challenge. Fortunately, in the hour I was at my desk in my little room in the vacation house that we were all staying in, I was able to do a bit of work and get through some of my to-do list. And the important things I got done, I called my doctors to confirm my appointments in the weeks for when I got back. And I was able to make sure my files were transferred to the doctors at Sloan Kettering, who are going to give me my second opinion. So, I wasn't able to do everything on the to-do list, but after 2 solid hours of searching on the internet and making phone calls, I was able to secure a new laptop from a store that was a solid 2 hours away from the vacation home where we were staying in West Bumfuck. So at that point in the mid-morning, there was nothing to do but wait to get up the next morning and go to the store and pick up the new computer to make that 4-hour round trip, because it wouldn't be in until the following day. So this is the view from the deck of the vacation house where we were staying. You would think any normal person would be able to relax here, right? I'm not the best candidate for a relaxing vacation in the best of times. I'm more of an urban vacationer. I like to visit historic sites and to see a show and eat at charming restaurants and shop. That's vacation for me. But on this particular vacation, I was also preoccupied with the crazy that comes from having a cancer diagnosis. And I was also forcibly unplugged from technology. And it was really, really, really good that my very clever friends had a plan. And their plan was to drive a few miles from West Bumfuck to historic St. Mary's City. It was a reproduction on the original site of one of the first English settlements in North America. And it was delightful. It was lots of history, which is right up my alley. And I am so sad that I didn't pull out my camera and record while I was there. But meanwhile, let me tell you about the highlight of the day at St. Mary's City. And that was sitting aboard the Dove, which is a reproduction of a 17th century trading ship. And it was one of 2 ships that made the first expedition from England to the colony of Maryland. The Dove is small as these sort of ships go. It could be sailed by a crew of 7. And once in port in Maryland, it was never supposed to leave port again. It was supposed to be a vessel that was used to expedite trade among the colonies. The Dove, however, had a much more colorful history than that. It included piracy, and it also included an act that was never explicitly laid out in the papers of the day, in the court papers of the day, but the act was so appalling to contemporary colonists in Massachusetts that the boat was banned from Boston Harbor. We had a historical interpreter, and he was dressed in the billowing shirt and the cotton pants, the cropped cotton pants that a 17th century sailor might have worn, and he was also barefoot, which apparently was the fashion of the day for sailors. But he was so animated and enthusiastic and really knowledgeable about his subject that for a little while I forgot that I had no working technology, that I had cancer. I forgot my back hurt. I just sat aboard the Dove and listened to him spin the tales of where the original of this ship had been, the adventures it had been on, and I got caught up in the danger and the romance and the mystery of his story. And I asked plenty of questions too, because, just in case I ever wanted to use the Dove as sort of a piece in a book I might write. But, am I ever going to use the story of the Dove in a book? Probably not. 17th century seafaring adventures are not among the subjects I usually choose to write about. If you want to find out more about the Dove and historic St. Mary's City, I've put some links in the description below. But here's the thing. What I take away from that day on the Dove, what was reinforced for me, is the power of story. The power of story to do so many things. It can reflect and validate our own life experience. It can open the world to us and the experience of peoples and places that we have not experienced yet. And story can transport us from lives we may think of as stressful or even mundane and take us into new worlds and help us remember that there are other stories and other peoples who have those stories to tell, not just us and our own. And did I ever mention that I love working with books? If you liked this video or found it helpful, give it a like, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell.